Mainebiz Sunday is brought to you by Bangor Savings Bank, where you can enjoy free ATMs worldwide. You're watching Mainebiz Sunday, Maine's business news source.
Welcome back. The topic today is Maine's paper industry. Our guests include Keith Van Scotter, CEO of Lincoln Paper and Tissue, Donna Cassesi, manager of the Sappi Mill in Westbrook, Hemant Pedence, director of the Forest Byproducts Research Institute at the University of Maine, and John Williams, the executive director of the Maine Pulp and Paper Association. When we ended the first segment, we were talking about kind of new things were coming forward, new research, new development. Hemant, I'm going to come back to you. What are you seeing going forward? What are going to be the new things that this industry is really going to be involved with going forward, do you think?
I think there are two areas.
Okay.
One is on a paper end. Nanocellulose is becoming a new product that paper industry and is modifying their pulp can produce.
I'm going to hesitate asking.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to ask this, but you got to tell me what that is.
Yeah.
Not too geeky, okay.
Nanocellulose is wood fibers already have fibrils.
Okay.
And you essentially do extended refining, and so you could release a lot of nanoscale, less than micrometer scale cellulose fibers. And because you have a lot of surface area that you can create, you can incorporate those in coatings and various other finished products. That makes a substantial difference in the strength properties of the coated material.
Okay.
And it's going to enter into composites in a very big way.
Okay. Well, let me follow up on that and just throw it out to the whole panel then too. Given that and where we're heading with new products, new research, new markets, those kinds of things, is Maine, what is our competitive advantage in Maine in terms of being able to stay in this industry and capitalize on some of this new research that's going forward? What do you folks see out there?
A couple of things. One, we're in the midst of a great fiber basket. There's
Okay.
water and fiber available, and ultimately, if you're going to make pulp, to make further integrated products, whether it's paper or tissue or more fine and different grades of paper, having fiber in the form of wood and water is very important. I think another aspect is certainly the workforce itself. There's a culture of manufacturing in the state, and that's important. That's not to be taken lightly.
What about skill levels of workers?
Well, the university, I was just going to add to Keith's comment, is having the University of Maine is really a very good competitive advantage for us. The chemical engineers that come out of the School of University of Maine, we are very, very fortunate to have. And those are the people who are the brains of the industry and who are really putting us in a place where we can be competitive with the world.
Is Maine invested enough in that in terms of its university research, its private and public sector R&D? We know the industry sectors that really grow are the ones that have the right kind of investment and the right kind of research institutes that are available to them. Pulp and paper is part of our lifeblood, as we say here. Have we invested enough?
Yeah. We have done our part.
Never enough, okay.
We're doing our part. Our enrollment has doubled since 2004 in terms of undergraduate students that are enrolled. Pulp and Paper Foundation is giving more than $750,000 worth of scholarships every year now. And that's what's filling up the incoming pipeline of new replacement workers. Because I think industry is facing another challenge is where they need to replace retiring people. And I think we need to bring in.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. What is the demographic of the workforce?
We're a 50-plus-year-old industry, and so in the next 5 to 10 years we will be replacing workers throughout the stream, and we've kind of focused on the chemical engineers. For those folks, we've got to make manufacturing be sexy, I call it, because they have a lot of choices of where they can go. We want them to go into manufacturing. So for Keith and I, part of our job is to make it very attractive, and I also want to put a plug in for the technical schools, because we have a lot of need for electrical folks, millwrights, pipers, and we really need to have a strong community education foundation for us to be able to resource the needs that we're going to have in the next few years.
And part of that is kind of the culture in the towns that we don't want to lose, is that and unfortunately the challenges the industry's gone through in the last 20 years is people have had more of a negative view of the industry, and part of our deal is to say the industry is alive, it's well, it can provide a great job at a great wage, so people have the mindset that says, whether at an educated level or at a highly educated level or at a trade school level, this is a good place to go and work.
I want to follow up on that. Anyone can answer. With that negative view of the industry, what is that about?
Well, I think, look, ours is a mature, consolidating industry, and anything that you talk about, whether it's in heavy manufacturing, it's had to change how it's
not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be, but it's still a really good place.
Right.
And we can't all make
$60,000 a year?
Yeah, we can't all make a living flipping burgers. And the reality is manufacturing is important in this country. Pulp and paper manufacturing is important in this country. It's important in this state.
Association, how are they addressing that issue?
We've been saying...
Making it sexy, isn't it?
Oh, making it sexy. Well, we've been saying for a while, we're going to have all these jobs coming online, and,
Right.
and it just, we never seem to quite get there. But recently, Verso Paper and Sappy Paper were running competing ads in the Bangor Daily News looking for people. The industry is looking for people now, and I think we'll be looking for a lot more people down the road.
At Lincoln, since we've restarted in 2004, we have been hiring pretty much continuously.
Okay.
And we have to be seen as growing, and I think for a long period of time, as we did have the capital investment and the number of people in the mills was going down, it wasn't seen as a growth industry. And now what we're seeing, I believe, is a really vibrant industry. We just had an article about our industry in Down East Magazine.
Yes. Yep.
Who would have thunk that we
Right.
would have had an article there? So I think that all of a sudden, we're on the forefront again, and there's an understanding of how important this business is for the state of Maine.
I think another way is we are working with KVCC
Yes.
folks, so they can get their people in advanced workforce aligned with what changes are doing. We are working with Pulp and Paper Foundation with their high school juniors program called Consider Engineering.
Right.
They bring high school juniors. And College of Engineering has a new program called Girls Engineers Maine, GEM, where we bring middle school kids for hands-on activities on campus. I
Start
think
thinking about
that's
the
where
possible
they can get
opportunities,
real connect. See the
Well,
kind of
good.
products she has.
Yeah.
They relate to those.
Yeah.
I think one other comment, people care more about jobs. It's a bigger issue in the last couple of years than it used to be. And one other interesting statistic, the pulp, paper, forest, and allied industries is a top 10 employer in 46 states. We're a big deal in the country, and people never think about
We're
that.
going to have to close up the segment real quickly, but and we're going to talk more about the stuff, and especially policy issues in our afterthought segment. But I wanted to ask about competition, foreign competition in particular. Is that where our biggest competitors are coming from? And we have a lot of foreign ownership too. Talk about that for a moment.
Well, it is for us. We sell only 15% of our product in North America, so our marketplace is the world. Our two biggest competitors are in Italy and Scotland, and also we are starting to have competitors over in the Far East. So our competition is absolutely outside of North America.
See, everybody's expecting everybody's biggest competitor to be in China.
Not necessarily,
Right.
however, China is growing a lot in the tissue area. It really is very much grade specific, and China, when they target particular grade niches, and they do at the governmental level, that can be a big problem.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think on the research area,
Well, China doesn't have the resource that we have. So they have a number of advantages, but that's one they don't have. A Chinese company recently bought the Woodland mill, and a lot of that product, the pulp, was going over to China and Asia even before it was Chinese-owned, but it's now Chinese-owned. So it gets much more complicated. We're not just small companies operating in Maine.
Right. We're going to have to wrap this segment right there, but we are going to keep you around, and for our afterthought segment, we'll drill down a little bit deeper on all these subjects, so stick around.
Thank you.
You can catch more of this discussion about the paper industry in Maine in our exclusive afterthought segment seen only on the web. Just go to mainebizsunday.com. We'll be right back.
Mainebiz Sunday is made possible in part by funding provided by the Finance Authority of Maine.